Alright, so today we're going to be talking about Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer. So there's two turnarounds of the main chord sequence in this song. So the chord progression is pretty simple. It's just D flat minor 7, so we're in the key of E major. So it's just the 6th chord to the 4th chord, which is A major and then E major. So the first turnaround, everything is very simple. So we're just hitting a few chord tones. So the tonic of the first chord being the D flat minor 7, so just hitting that note there, and then hitting the 5th to the flat 7th of that chord, and then we go E major, so hitting the 7th of that chord, which is a very sweet sounding note, combined with that chord, and then just stepping down to that note, which is the tonic of E major. So the hop from this note to that note is kind of a short hop, and if you want to write melody lines that are kind of sound a bit more cohesive, a good trick is to find chord tones between the two chord changes that have chord tones that are short hops away between each other, and makes it just sound kind of more smooth. So the first turnaround, it's very kind of simple, just hitting the chord tones, and then the second half of the solo, it starts getting a bit more adventurous, and the more blues style influence starts being introduced a bit more. So the phrasing in the first half of the solo is very simple and stripped back, and the second half a bit more sort of complexity and personality is shown sort of in what he's doing. So we like just a lot of notes where he's hitting it off the beat, or kind of not where you're sort of expecting it to be. So it's a cool little trick, and just shows off a bit more sort of syncopation and anticipation of where the note should be, but it's just before or just after where it's supposed to be, but it kind of just makes it sound a little more interesting. The other instruments kind of use dynamics where before the solo they're kind of playing a chorus, I think, and everything's a bit louder. Then the solo comes and then everything just pulls back a bit to let the guitar kind of cut through a bit more. And the guitar pitch is sort of more higher pitch, which lets it sort of ring out more easily as well, and sounds a bit more kind of emotional sounding in a way, I guess you could say. And then the solo finishes, and then I think we go back to like a pre-chorus or something like that. And so the instruments go back to where they were before, basically. And then the last point I just want to make is that there's a lot of guitar bends in the solo, which is kind of like the style that John Mayer kind of uses, but it just gives the kind of melodies of sort of gliding kind of feeling. So that's just a tool that he'll use a lot, I think, and it works well in the context of this song. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this.